Hi, Terrell. Okay, here we are. It is evaluation day. Um, this is your father's watch. Your father was a fuel systems engineer with NASA for the Apollo program in Cape Canaveral, and he bought this watch when he was with NASA. It's your father's watch, and it's a special watch. It's pretty cool. This is a very cool model. It's an unusual model. It's a 6139 6009. For a long time, old school collectors didn't believe that this watch existed. This watch model existed. This watch has a notch case, which is a classic hallmark of a proof watch. It has the two-part early sweep, which also is something that we see with the A movements, which this has, and the proof watches. But this says resist. This is a North American only model, and because of truth in advertising laws, Seiko had to change this from saying proof to resist. And so it's an unusual watch. And again, for a long time, collectors said that this watch model did not exist. So I was very proud. I found an advertisement on eBay years ago. This is just a scan of it. The actual one is in another room, and I can't get to it right now. But this is the scan of it. Seiko, the Automation Age watch. And I was looking at this line of 6139 6005s, and I could see the notch crown and the fact that it said resist. I'm like, well, there it is. The ad was from a Life magazine in 1970. And this ad proved that watch model existed. Of course, we knew that watch model really existed. Of course it did. People were just being fussy because people love being right. And they love being able to say, oh, no, it didn't exist. Show me the ad. There's no documentary evidence. Nobody's ever seen it in a catalog. It's a made-up thing. It doesn't exist. Well, you know what it does. And so even if I didn't have the ad, I'd know it existed. But then, you know what? Even if we didn't know that, I'd see your father's watch, and I'd say, there it is. Completely original. You had talked about George Washington's axe and not wanting to swap out too much stuff. You really don't have to. We clean this watch up. We clean the case. We replace the crystal. We clean the hands. You might want to consider having me relume these hands. I have a vintage style loom that I have invented that behaves like the regular original dial loom so that it would look cleaner and you wouldn't have this weird thing where the hands glow and the dial doesn't. That's something that I would seriously consider. It's a very good watch. The watch is barely running. The only problem that I'm seeing is that this chronograph hand, whenever it comes around to here, it should push this hand over, and it's not doing that. I've ascertained that this wheel is free. It's turning as it should, but this chronograph wheel here is not pushing this over. There could be a problem with the date finger that's on the bottom of this stacked component called the chronograph wheel. I hope it's nothing major. If we have to replace that part, I can do it, but it's expensive. And because I would hope not to have to do that because your clutch is still good. I mean, just to have the finger be bad, that'd be sad. But I won't know until we get into it. The mainspring feels very gluey to me, but generally the movement looks good. Despite the haze, the metal is still bright. The only things I'm seeing is, can you see this darkness here and here? That's some corrosion on the movement ring spring. This is a very thin, warpy spring that runs around here. So some liquid definitely got in. Also, your lower mainspring arbor port is definitely worn, but I have a fix for that. You can see this screw head right there moving. That's the whole shaft moving. The lower end needs a jewel put in place because that hole is all worn. So the big question is, what is up with your chronograph wheel? That's the only question mark I have, and I won't know until I get into it, because it should have just pushed that over right there, and it didn't. So we'll see. It's your father's watch. It's got great history. It's got NASA history. Hey, the watch just stopped. It's not running very well anyway. But this is a great watch with real history. I don't think we need any major surgery. It just needs to be cleaned. I probably can scare up a couple of extra links for your original bracelet. I would need to see. Either that Uncle Seiko, though, also sells wonderful solid link recreations of this bracelet. And his end links are a little more secure. These are this particular variety. There were like 3 or 4 different varieties of end links these had. These are the most rattly. So I have newer end links that we can replace this with that are more firmly held. But also, if you get a new bracelet from Larry, then it'll be nicer. That's a great watch. Now, normally I would put it on my time grapher and give you the numbers, but it's running so poorly, there's just nothing that's really ever going to tell us about anything. So I'm not going to worry about that. But I just want to find out what's up with that chronograph wheel. Thank you for sending this in. Very cool. Thank you.